Hey, thanks so much for tuning into the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth. Today is Friday. Hopefully you have been encouraged, inspired, challenged through the book of 2 Corinthians. We are on the final chapter, chapter 13, and we're going to divide it up into two different sections, one today and then one we're going to finalize it and finish it off tomorrow for Soak It Up Saturday. But before we get into a question for us to ponder, to think about is, how do people respond when we give them corrective criticism, when we share a thought or a feeling or advice of like, you probably shouldn't be doing what you're doing. If you're a parent, if you're a grandparent, if you're a teacher, if you're some sort of leader, some sort of coach, you've had people not do what you've advised them to do. And this is how Paul responds to that whole aspect of, not listening or not following directions. This is what he says here. And this final warnings here to the church of Corinth. He says, "This will be my third visit to you. Every matter must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. I already gave you a warning when I was with you the second time. I now repeat it while I was absent now. On my return, I will not spare those who sinned earlier or any of the others, since you are demanding proof that Christ is speaking through me. He is not weak in dealing with you, but is powerful among you." And what Paul is saying here, he's saying a lot there in those 3 verses, but to summarize it in a nutshell, he's saying, hey, you might not listen to me. You might be looking like, what authority do you have? What, who are you to speak this to me? He's saying, hey, it's not me. I mean, I'm the messenger. If you're dealing with Christ, listen to this. He says, since you're demanding proof that Christ is speaking through me, he says, he is not weak in dealing with you. So that should calm us down, especially when it comes to sharing our faith. When we are sharing our faith, we can have such worry and anxiety and fear building up. Like, how are people going to respond to this? Or what if they don't listen? Or what if they criticize? Or what if... Really, it doesn't matter how they respond. Our job, what Paul was doing here, his job was to declare the truth of Jesus Christ to the church of Corinth during this time. That is our job. I've talked about that numerous times on the Daily Doses and on Sunday mornings. God has called us to be his ambassadors, to be his image bearers, to be his representatives. Now, how other people respond to that? He is not weak. The Lord is not weak in dealing with them. See, judgment day will come. And so how they chose to respond to the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ, they're going to be held responsible for that. He continues on, verse 4, "For to be sure, he was crucified in weakness, yet he lives by God's power." He's speaking of Jesus. Jesus himself humbled himself, became weak, became a servant, and died, yet he was not weak. He lives by God's power. Likewise, we are weak in him, yet by God's power, we will live with him in our dealing with you. What I absolutely love about that, he's like, hey, I'm not here to defend myself. I'm not here to prove myself that I'm worthy of sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ with you. He's like, I know I'm not worthy. Guess what? You're not worthy. Guess what? I'm not worthy. And so we don't have to make ourselves perfect. That's never going to happen in order for us to be his ambassadors, to share the good news of Jesus Christ, to have some corrective criticism for our brothers and sisters who are in Christ. What he's saying here, he's saying, hey, likewise, we are weak, but God's power lives in us. And so let that be the focus. Let that be that determination that we have. And I want to encourage you, if it's been a while since you fasted, maybe today could be a day that you choose to sacrifice something that you would normally participate in, that you would normally consume, and you would choose to abstain from that and say, God, in my physical weakness, if you're fasting a meal or whatever it may be, and there's you feeling this weakness, you say, God, make me strong in you. I want to encourage you to do that today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Daily Dose for Spiritual Growth.